Craig here from Your Tech. We've got another PC build for a customer. Now, this one should have been an upgrade, but the PC they wanted upgrading was an old Dell Alienware. And as I'm sure a lot of people know, they're not the most upgradable PCs in the world. I told them what I could upgrade on it, but because of the limitations around the power supply, because it's a Dell Alienware, I could only give them a certain amount of performance uplift. After talking to them, they decided they were going to sell the old system, and this brand new system would be built for a Christmas present for their son. You can see all the parts here, but we are going to go through every single part individually and what we've chosen for this awesome 1080p system. I say 1080p, as you can see there is a 4060, so it can do some 1440p gaming as well. Bang for the buck, this should be a great system for them. Let's get into it. The first component we're going to go through is the case. Now, this is the Vida Zephyr case. I've built in it before. It's a great little case, M80X. Comes with 4 included RGB fans. Looks really cool at the front. Tempered glass side panel, dust filters, and there's plenty of space in it for all our components. This is a great bang for the buck case. If you've got an M80X motherboard, you don't want it to take up a massive footprint on your desk, but you want plenty of airflow. This is a great little case, and they're so cheap. I'll put the price up, but these are ridiculously cheap for what they are. Brains of the PC, Ryzen 5 5600X. I know this is now a dead platform, but with AMD releasing the 5700X 3D about 6 months ago, these are still really easy to get. The motherboards are still very easy to get, and it looks like AMD is going to support them a little bit longer. And the price you really can't argue with. If you're doing some kind of budget build, these are fantastic. The 5600X is still a very fast CPU, and you've still got the upgrade path of going up to the 5800X 3D. I think very good choice. 6 cores, 12 threads, high boost clock, great CPU. And the included cooler in it does absolutely fine, so you don't have to waste any money on a cooler. Next is the motherboard. This is the Asus Prime B550M-A Wi-Fi 2. We got the Wi-Fi one so that it includes Bluetooth as well. So if the customer wanted to connect a controller or they wanted to move the PC one day, they haven't got to worry. Comes with Wi-Fi. Jobs are good. It's got everything that we need in it. It's got support for a Gen 4 M.2, accepts the 5600X without a BIOS update, got Aura Sync if you care about that, Wi-Fi 6, and it accepts memory speed up to 4866 mega transfers per second. Not that I think the memory controller on that could handle that speed of RAM, but there's always a chance. As we mentioned the RAM, we have 2 times 8 sticks of 3200 mega transfers per second. CL16 should be plenty fast enough for the system. This is a 1TB M.2 SSD from ADATA. Now, it's only a Gen 3 drive. This does have a Gen 4 slot, but it'll still run a Gen 3 drive fine. I didn't see the point in the extra money for a Gen 4 one when you can barely notice the difference in loading times. So we stuck with a Gen 3 to keep it under budget. We have the Be Quiet System Power 10 550 watt power supply. It is fully cabled, it is 80 plus bronze. It is basically what we need for this build. Should be plenty of power, shouldn't have any issues. And the star of the show, an 8GB 4060 from Asus. This is the dual fan variant. It's got high boost clocks. It will run 1080p games super fast, and it's got all that awesome DLSS goodness baked right in. And that is exactly what we want. It's a cool little card, it'll fit in the case, and I believe it only takes one 8-pin PCIe cable, which will make it look nice and neat. So, as you can tell, that's all the parts. The makings of a great 1080p system here. I think the customer's going to be really happy. Let's get building it. Right then, PC is built. Not had any issues. It's all plumbed in, ready to go. Everything's cable managed, and I got my center broke. That's the cable management. Hopefully that's okay. We've got the power in, we've got display, we've got our portable monitor. Turn the power supply on, and let's see if it posts. Well, I can see straight away we've got lights. It is AMD platform, so it may have to do a bit of memory training. Is the monitor even on? Oh, there we go, into BIOS. Now, I'll make sure DOCP or Expo is enabled, and we'll install Windows. And then it's on to the benchmarking and the testing to make sure the system is all good and ready to go. I'll see you in a minute. Let's get some benchmark results. Windows is installed now. We have Windows 11 on here. Everything is updated. All the graphics drivers are on. I've installed Cyberpunk and a few different programs so that we can see what kind of performance we're getting, measure temperatures and all that kind of stuff. We've got hardware monitor running and I've got the Cyberpunk benchmark running. We're currently seeing between 70 and 100 FPS, and that is Cyberpunk at 1080p ultra settings. So I'm quite impressed. There's no DLSS, no upscaling, nothing. Easily smashing over 60 FPS. Could not be happier. PC's not that loud. You should be able to hear it if it is loud, with the mic being that close. These fans are fixed RPM. I think I've mentioned that in a video before. However, with the amount of airflow that these are pulling through, it shouldn't be an issue in the slightest. The 4060 doesn't run particularly hot. The 5600X will run to like mid to high 70s on the stock cooler, but it'll run like that all day long, so that's not a problem. I'm going to do a few benchmarks, which I'll put up on the screen in a second, and hopefully this will be some impressive 1080p performance and the customer is going to be thrilled. Once the benchmarks are done, we'll get this packaged up, customer can have it so they can wrap it up ready for Christmas Day. See you in a minute. And that's the benchmarks done. I'm going to talk about the temperatures first. Now, taking in mind this has only got the stock cooler on it, the max temperature I saw while running these benchmarks was 80.1 degrees. Now, I know that sounds high, but it only spiked at that just for a second. Throughout all of these benchmarks, it was hovering around 70, at least in Spider-Man. Hogwarts, Cyberpunk and PUBG were all hovering around the low 60s, which is amazing. The 4060 is done brilliantly, and the max temp I saw on that was 73 degrees. And again, that's absolutely fine. It'll run at that temperature all day long. As for the benchmark numbers, I'm really impressed with this. Performance you get in Spider-Man and Hogwarts Legacy is fantastic. PUBG, more of an FPS game, and you would not be running it at ultra settings. Well, most people wouldn't. And to see that get over 100 frames a second on the 1% lows is brilliant. Cyberpunk's average at 60, it felt really smooth while I was playing it and doing the 5-minute benchmark. 61 average frame rate and the 43.9 in the 1% lows, which I've got to be honest, I didn't really recognise. The frame time graph on every game was basically flat. I built and sold this for, I think it was 700, and with that fully activated Windows 11, or they will have, I don't think I've put it on yet. 1 terabyte of Gen 3 SSD storage, 5600X, RTX 4060, case for 4 fans, decent motherboard, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I think they're going to be really happy. What do you guys think? Do you like the build? Do you think it's worth the money? And what do you think to the performance? I know the RTX 4060 is not the most amazing card in the world. For the money that they're at the minute, can't really argue with the 1080p performance. You'll notice as well, I didn't use any upscaling on any of the benchmarks, which would have brought them numbers up considerably. Even just using DLSS quality would have brought them numbers up quite a bit. Now, personally, I really like DLSS. I haven't used 3 because I've only got a 3070. Whenever I'm playing a game that uses it, I always put it on. I always put it on and put it on quality just so that the far distance graphics look better. Some people will notice a bit of smudging and a bit of smearing, but on the quality setting, I really can't tell the difference up close, and I think it looks brilliant. Really happy with this build. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know. Drop me a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave me a nasty comment or give me a thumbs down or something. And if you want to support the channel, please subscribe.